Previously on Unranked.
Zombie apocalypse has hit the world. What would you do, and who would survive?
I got a stocked fridge full of drinks back there.
He's got the pizza oven, you know.
He's going outside.
He's gonna be eating pizzas for a while.
Tomato plant and the cucumbers have gotten so gigantic I couldn't even get it in the house.
How big did these tomatoes get that the cop fit through a door?
You're never leaving your house, so you're just barricading.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it really is, but we're going to run out of food, and then we're going to starve to death, and then that's the end of it.
You want some apple juice with some seeds in it?
Yeah, I love feeling like I'm drinking, like, thin worms.
Thin worms.
What's up? What was amazing about that previously on, when Tom at the very end was laughing, he was laughing now.
I was laughing. It was the same laugh.
It was
the same laugh. It was the same mannerism of laugh. I also noticed that I feel like I have more color and life in my skin
Your
right
camera
now
changes every time we do this.
versus that previously on. I look like I'm like on death's door.
If
It looks
Chris-
worse because I have to zoom in on your video, on everyone's video, right? Because right now I'm just getting the little grids, so it definitely it exacerbates the lower quality video for sure.
If Chris
Right,
went
but
back like 4 or 5 episodes and showed you yours, you'd be like, "Why are there icicles hanging from my ceiling?" Like,
Right,
it's
I
just
know.
random how your camera reacts to everything.
It's true. This is true.
All right, it's episode 391. Welcome to the show. This is Christian Humes here with Alex Tuna Marinello,
Hello.
Dan Weine,
Oh,
and Tom Caswell.
Hello.
What's going on? Just kidding. Let's jump right into the Pokemon.
Oh boy. Off to a banger.
Well, we have we're doing it a little short and sweet because we're starting late. Tuna's got a hard out, and I think Tom has a lot to talk about. So we're gonna skip the game this week, go right into the Pokemon. Today's 391, so we're talking about Monferno.
Oh, Monferns. Of course.
Yeah, I feel like
that's the Fire Mountain Pokemon.
Yeah.
that would be pretty good. I do feel like for the next
A volcano, in other words.
few weeks, we
Yeah.
aren't really gonna be asking, guess what this is, because
No, I know what it is.
yeah, and they're,
Well, okay,
they're all
fine. Well,
3-stage
if-
Pokemon.
Yeah. If Dan doesn't know, though, I'd like to hear.
I threw my guess out there.
You did say mountain, so a volcano.
Yeah, I said my guess is basically a volcano.
This isn't Cameroon.
Monferno may be a combination of monkey and Inferno.
Oh,
Which is
not
weird
now.
because it is a mountain design. That's weird.
That is weird. You know, for being a start, like a third, well, I guess it's because it's a middle stage,
Yep.
but the trivia is like lacking. It's 2 sentences and it's bad.
I feel like that's your middle stage for you. That's typical middle
Mhm.
stage.
I feel like we should stay in the middle stages longer than we do. I feel like we spend very little time in the middle with the middle dude.
I
Guy.
feel like,
Poke.
I mean, of course, you spend the most time
With the
with
final.
the final one, but I think you spend a bit more time in the middle usually than the first stage.
Yeah, the first stage, you're usually evolving in the early teens,
Well,
and you
yeah,
get
it's
to
usually
Pokemon
about,
at
like,
level 5, so
well,
you only have
12
it for
to
like 7
16.
levels.
Not always though. You could always I used to always hold off on the evolving to get
Well,
the
but that's a
better
personal
moves.
choice. That's not
Yeah.
not where the Pokemon, that's
Can
Here's what
evolve.
I think we should. I
that's
think
an
we should move it up.
artificial.
We should move it up. We should move everything up. Move it all up.
So
does that mean?
stay longer as a small guy.
Stay longer as a
the
small
middle.
guy.
Okay.
You really need the journey. You need to grow. You can't just be evolving within like a gym.
I think it's supposed to be like people where like you're like a kid, you're like a little kid, and then all of a sudden like teenage years, like quick little teenage years, and then adult,
Mhm.
yeah, you're done.
And
I
then
want
it's
them to do
that
away with
death.
levels entirely and find a new system that is more interesting and dynamic.
Whoa.
Can it be like can it be like a
Whoa.
color system with like an X and Y axis that makes no sense to anyone?
Sure, it can be like the rainbow for reviews. What I was thinking was more like
Chris's review rainbow.
I think it should be milestone
yeah.
based. It should be more about the
forgot about
story.
your-
So like beating
Yeah.
a gym leader or stopping the bad guys or
Okay,
tackling a
see
huge
this-
Pokemon, and then now it can evolve.
This is very interesting. So
That's how it happens in the show as well,
Right.
right? Like,
Yeah.
Well,
Mhm.
I feel like this goes back to we have talked about this so much about how to improve Pokemon, And this level idea, I don't think has come up before. This level idea, this doing away with the levels. We've always just, that was just like a base thing that we were just like, well, that's the way it works, and that's what we're gonna. But I like it. Get rid of the levels. There's no point once you're at like level 50 and you gotta like to get to level 100. It's like that was so 20 years ago, dude.
Yep.
Like
And
no one does it anymore.
Your numbers go up and your enemies' numbers go up, so it almost doesn't matter.
Right.
So, and also in Pokemon games, your enemies' numbers go up, and they go up so much slower than yours that at a certain point, once you get past like Gym 5, it's so
you are blasting through.
Find a more
You're
interesting
like, oh,
way
I got
to
a
do
level
it.
73. This thing's just gonna fucking one shot you every time, and I'm on my way. And
I'm telling you know, Pokemon needs a complete and total overhaul. They need a complete and total overhaul on that game.
Yeah,
facts.
I agree.
I'm hearing they need some more overalls in that game.
They
We'll
could
get an
also
overall
use-
Pokemon now, I guess.
Yeah, how come? I'm surprised they haven't had the overall Pokemon yet.
Well, it'll start out as jeans,
You're
right? Or, no, it
As
starts as
jeans.
jorts. It goes jorts to
no,
jeans
it should
to
be
overall.
jorts jeans to overalls.
Jorts jeans overalls.
Jorts
Yeah.
jeans overalls. That is
Yeah.
definitely, and it would
That
be
is
like,
and it's something. It's
Jortmon.
no, it's gonna be like denim. Denim's gonna be in the name.
Jortmon. It's
oh
not
no,
Digimon.
Jornum. Jornum is a combination of jorts and denim.
You know what? It
God.
may have recorded to the cloud for the bits I missed. I guess we'll see.
Oh
So,
yeah,
ooh,
it
did,
probably, maybe.
There
in
was
the
some
time
good
I
talk
lost-
with the jorts. Yeah,
in the 30 seconds I missed, have we evolved past the name Jortmon, a Digimon?
we did.
Oh, he
Go-
did.
because
He came up
we
with
did.
every.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are
Yeah.
they?
Well,
Regale
it
me.
was Jortnum for jorts and denim. Then it was Gene Vi for
Okay.
jeans and Levi's.
Okay.
And then it was overhaul because the guy will be hauling something and it'll be a combination of overall and haul. So that's your jeans Pokemon.
Yeah, and then I
And
think
they'll do
like
a
it.
crossover with Best Genist.
they should be able to like mate with a Pokemon. Then that Pokemon's just wearing overalls.
Also, by the way, Overhaul was one of the main enemies in my hero.
Right.
Right. And then that's what I'm saying. You just get Best Genist.
What typing is this?
Crossover.
Crossover.
Yeah,
It feels like this is a normal / something type.
Gotta be
I
a
think this
fighting.
is. You think
Fighting.
fighting?
Oh,
You fight in jorts?
The Cowboys were big fighters back
Well,
in
hold
the
on,
day,
hold
and they
on,
were wearing their
hold
jeans. What?
Okay. What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
Cowboy jorts is being thrown around. You're talking about cowboys as if
Well,
cowboys.
because
started
jeans are
jorts.
a staple of cowboys, and cowboys are rough riders, so they fight.
I think, but they're named after Levi's, not Wrangler. Wrangler's the
Oh.
big cowboy jeans.
No, Levi. Well, denim. Well, denim in
Just
general.
jeans
came
in
from-
general.
Did
This
you did you
Pokemon-
watch the Jeff Goldblum Disney Plus show where they go into the history of jeans?
I
No.
watched that show, but I did not see the
that
episode
was
on
a really
jeans.
good episode. Well, you can't watch it now because it's gone. It doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
What do you mean it's
took it.
gone? Why'd they take it away?
So they can
Disney's,
save
like,
money.
taking shit down. Yeah.
How is
they-
that? Wait, how
They
is that?
also made a full show,
Tax
and now
write-off,
they just
baby.
decided not to put it on, and they're just shopping it around.
Wait a
Look.
second. So they took it. They took episodes that they already made
Yep.
and were already on Disney Plus.
Yep.
And you're telling me they took them away?
It's like
Yep.
how HBO removed Westworld and a bunch of other shows as well. They've just
Yep.
taken away shows.
But
They're just
why?
gone.
But you're saying that it's a tax write-off? In what way?
It's not a tax write-off.
That's
Well,
what
that-
Tom
that
just
I know
said.
it's so that they don't have to pay residuals. That's a big part of it.
That's part of it. The tax write-off element of it is basically like, I mean, if
It counts
we
as a
want to get
loss, right?
specific-
They get to
Yes,
market as a loss
exactly,
on what their
exactly.
projections were.
Yes.
They get to market as a. I feel like that's cheating.
Oh, there's a
Of course it's cheating.
whole dude. There's a
Of course
lot
it's
of
cheating.
people are getting real mad with Zaslav for it because he started the shit and now Iger's following. I mean, look, we don't need to get into the studios. They're a bunch of motherfuckers.
Erasing original shows from their libraries can help streamers get tax write-downs and to a smaller extent save on
Write-downs.
residual payments. But it brings criticism. Yeah. So
Wow.
I don't know the specifics.
I've never heard of a tax
That's
write-down
so
until right now.
lame. That is so lame.
yeah. It's
That's
really
horrible. That should
And
be
then-
illegal.
It's almost like these
and
billionaires
then
running these
and then they're
studios are
trying to
assholes.
double dip by selling the content to another streamer. Like, oh, Westworld, Netflix, do you want Westworld? Like, we'll sell it to you for
Like
like
Paramount
pennies
Plus,
on
you
the
want it?
dollar.
You just
Yep.
kind of move it over.
Yeah, the state of. I mean, this is a huge part of why the strike is happening.
Yep.
Like the whole state of entertainment.
It's a whole thing we don't need to get into. It's bullshit. But I
do you
love
have time
I
for
love
it,
this
Tuna?
Pokemon. I love this Pokemon idea. I think it's great. I think it's awesome.
So if you want to draw what this Pokemon might look like in each of its stages, go for it.
Yeah.
Please.
I think the final version should be fairy fighting. Because it's sort of magical. I just imagine like, it looks sort of like an empty pair of overalls, right? It reminds me a bit of Sylveon with the ribbons, where you can have the overalls and can just be fucking slapping people around with those.
I like it.
Or it could be Ghost, like they're possessed. One or the other.
Oh,
That'd be cool as shit.
Ghost
Just
is good
wearing
too,
overalls
actually.
and jeans and all that.
Yeah,
Ghost would be...
like you make them more of like a nightmarish Pokemon.
Well, it's possessed by the ghost of a cowboy.
It's not bad.
That would be pretty good.
A backyard wrestler to start off.
That would
see that they would never do this, but the straps on the overalls could be holding revolvers.
Okay. Yeah.
The straps
I don't know if they would do that. I don't think they would do that in today. Would they? They probably wouldn't, right? Blast.
No, but you know what? They could have like a pickaxe, like they were like in the Gold Rush kind of a thing.
A shovel and a pickaxe.
Yeah, a shovel and a pickaxe. They could have
That's
spurs on the feet.
Blast them away.
It's not bad.
This is a good Pokemon.
Yeah.
Of all the stupid item Pokemon, this would be top tier.
Yeah, it would be.
Compared to like keychains and shit.
Yeah. Well, now this is good because you can put the keychains in the pocket. They're like a fighting duo.
We finally get fusion evolution.
Yeah, fusion,
and we get the keychain attached to the pants. That's great.
Yes. The one thing
is there also
Pokemon
a
really
wallet
needs.
Pokemon that can be attached to a key.
No, if there was so there's the key Pokemon, right? If there ever was the door Pokemon, that would be the ultimate. Like the key goes in the door opens, and it's this fusioned. Like that would be an ultimate thing. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I agree. If we had a bowl Pokemon, we could get a bunch of the key Pokemon, throw them in, and have a party.
Not bad.
That's true.
Not bad.
Yeah. All right. What's going on? What else is happening?
You guys,
we're going to spend a lot of time talking about Starfield because we're specifically not streaming this. Tom's definitely going to talk about. I mean, I don't know how much time, but you're going to talk about Starfield.
I'll keep it brief.
Okay, because
like 45 minutes tops.
It's embargoed, so this isn't live for that. When is that up? Is that up tomorrow?
Yeah, it'll be up tomorrow. So we'll be.
All right. Well, I'll cut this together so that the Spartans can see it tomorrow.
Okay.
I'll put it out for the Spartans.
So, well, then you know what? We will go through a very quick update from Dan and me, and then from Chris and me, and then
sure.
And then Tom can take it away, or if Dan wants to jump in with shit that he did. So this year, Dan and I wanted to go to the U.S. Open. Okay, really wanted to go.
Like we've been doing for years.
Like we have been doing for years. I think we only missed COVID. So we go online. I will, full disclosure, when the tickets first went on sale in May or June, we didn't jump on them because every year we've always just been able to buy grounds admission tickets the week before, or even like the 2 or 3 days before, and they were relatively affordable.
Yeah.
Back like,
and what that means is, you're not getting like a seat in the arena. Like you're just walking around. You see all the outdoor courts. You can go to like the upper decks of a couple of the arenas, not the main one.
So it's
fine.
Yeah, you walk around, you eat, you drink,
like
you have a good time. You don't have it's a great. We spend like the whole day. Tom has come with us once.
Good time.
So back like 10 years ago, or even like 14 years ago, when I went for one of the first times, it was like $60 for a grounds day ticket. They've upped it to like 100-ish. So we didn't jump on them when they went on sale originally. And
I was about to say, that's not terrible.
No,
it was like 115-ish.
Okay.
Yeah. Not horrible, but still I'm kind of like, But anyway, so because we didn't jump on them, US Open didn't release tickets, like new tickets. So they were all resale, and the resellers were selling them for like $200. So we were like, well, no, I'm not spending $200 to go in a grounds admission ticket when I know I'm going to spend $20 on at least one honeydews, if not more, and then overpriced food as well.
Right.
So we were
now
like,
it's a $300 day.
They don't have like real like available water either.
It turns into
water
right. You can't just drink water. You got to buy the Evian bullshit water. So it's going to turn out to be, you're right, Chris. It would turn out to be like a $350, possible $400 day. So we're like, fuck it. You know what? So Dan came over here. We hung out in the basement. We made homemade honey Duces for a tenth of the price of the day.
How good did those come out?
They were pretty good. We didn't buy, the problem was that we didn't buy pink lemonade. We bought raspberry lemonade.
We tried to buy pink lemonade. There wasn't available.
They didn't have it.
As if everyone was making honey Duces at home. They were sold out of pink lemonade.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we also bought chunks of honey Duces, not melon balls of honeydew. Honeydew.
Sure. Does that make a big difference, you think?
No.
Right.
So the ESPN app on Xbox has it so that you can watch 4 games at once. So we had the grid like you're seeing now of us in the games.
Awesome.
And so we had that.
Cool.
I
thought you were going to say the ESPN had the honeydew recipe.
No, I looked that up on greygoose.com.
I know.
So,
Did you use Grey Goose?
We did use Grey Goose, and we used Chambord for the raspberry liqueur as well.
Wow.
So it was a good time. We hung out for like 6 hours down just watching tennis, and we did invite Tom very late notice, and
to also get off work the next day too. It wasn't like an afternoon
we
thing.
Also extended the invite to Chris, didn't accept. So yeah. And I don't know, Dan, if you want to add anything, but I
am interested to come in the future, but to the actual US Open.
Yes.
Yeah.
We got to jump on those tickets.
It's a good time.
It's a good time.
It's a good time. It's a great day.
Yeah,
it's like you get there in the morning.
It would have been a muggy ass day yesterday.
It was a muggy ass day too. We would have been
so we were kind of glad we weren't there, and it wasn't that hot.
I'm not acclimated to that. I would have been complaining the whole time.
Too. Tuna
the year we went was gorgeous.
It was a really nice
the
week.
Prices dropped on the tickets
at
once the event had
11:30.
I was on the way to his house already. So I was wearing jeans. I'm like planning on sitting in a basement. So I'm wearing jeans, and I didn't bring my hat. And I was like, I would just be sitting outside in this muggy shit in jeans. And no,
in all seriousness,
like 1:30 anyway.
We wouldn't have gotten the toilet. The fact that it was muggy and everything was kind of like, it was better that we were just down here. So that was fun. Good times. And then I guess my comment with Chris was that we've been playing, and Tom a little bit, but we've been playing Walkabout mini golf, which I am obsessed with. I think it's the best.
PSVR 2.
Oh, that's right. I bought PSVR 2. Oh, well, I'll tell this story really quick. So I went to go buy it, but I didn't tell my spouse that I was going to buy it because she knew that it was a ridiculously priced item and that it was an insane purchase considering that the kid's birthday's coming up soon and we bought a new mattress and all this other crap. So I was like, all right. So then I go to Best Buy. They don't have it. And I'm like, all right. So I run over to GameStop, like, do you have it? And they're like, yeah, we got it. All right. So I come home with it. I try to hide it in the basement. Like, the basement windows, they have that well around like, so I hid it there.
Outside? The outside well?
Yes. Well, hold on. Actually, let me say this first. Before I got home, I turned off the Ring notifications, the camera recording, and the motion alert.
Yep.
So I turned that off.
Yep.
Tuna came home and his house had been robbed.
Because I'm not kidding. Every single
Tuna's
time
got his own Mission Impossible here.
Yeah. So every single time the ring goes off, she checks it. So I was like, I can't have that evidence. So I put it, even though I'm just blurting it now during this podcast, but she doesn't listen. So I put it in the well, right? So then I came in and I like a little chit chat. And she was like, what took you so long? Because I went out for something else. I went out for like, and she was like, what took you so long? I'm like, oh, the traffic. Oh my God, the traffic was insane. It was just insane. All right, so I get down here. I open the window.
It'd be great if she was behind you on the stairs while you're telling this story.
Well, yeah. I go out to go get it at the window. I open the basement window. It won't fit through the fucking window. So I'm like, oh, fuck. So then it starts to rain. So I'm like, oh, my fucking God.
Oh, shit.
So then I run upstairs and I make up this thing that I'm like, oh, I think I left the grill propane tank outside. It's not good to leave out in the rain. I don't know what the fuck. So she bought it. Or if she didn't buy it, she was just like, I don't know what the fuck this guy's talking about.
She's already seen it. She like knows it exists, and she's just like watching you through this song and dance.
It would be hilarious. So then I go out, grab it out from the window well. I forgot to close the shades down from where she could see me. So I had to like duck under the windows. I'm crawling under the windows to get to the garage. And then I put it in the garage because I can't come through the front door and the back door is locked. So I put it in the garage and I'm like, fuck me. Like this whole thing is like, I might as well just come clean. I might as well just come clean. So I come inside and I'm itching to play, man. Like I want to play mini golf so bad. And I'm sitting in the basement. I'm like, okay, all right. Finally, the kid wakes up from a nap and I hear her walk up the stairs to go get her. I bolted up these stairs outside in the garage, grabbed the goddamn thing, came back inside, like almost I was like, should I throw it? Should I not throw it? Because if you go in my house, my kid's bedroom is right at the top of the stairs. So if you turn around, you can see me coming through the front door.
I was gonna say you don't have a lot of time here.
No. So then I literally, it was like honestly out of a movie. I like sprint past the stairs, do a twist to make sure that the box is in front of me. My back is to the stairs. Do like a little twirl, and then just right into the basement I go. And then the two of them are coming down the stairs after the nap, and I'm like, and then the whole time Chris reminds me that like at any time I could be wearing this thing and it's bright white. Right. And she could just come down and go, and she could come down and I wouldn't even know it. She can come down and just be like, that doesn't look like the fucking thing you had earlier. So
I got a question.
I would love to be wearing a heart monitor during that whole ordeal because my heart was racing because I was going to be caught in so many lies. There were so many lies that I was going to be caught in.
Of course.
Yeah. So many lies.
Of course.
So
here's a question for you.
Talk to me.
Is there concern because you voiced that you want this?
That
this will come up as okay. There's no like
it's
like, too ridiculously priced.
It's too expensive.
What about from mom?
She's like, I told your mom about it and she got you.
No, because now mom doesn't get me anything ever since
you get the
kid. She doesn't get me anything anymore ever since she purchased a Lego set that I had already had. So ever since that.
Oh, she's like afraid.
She does not buy me anything. She either asks me or just gives me the money.
It would be amazing if she bought one and she was like, I knew you were never going to buy it for yourself because it's so ridiculously priced. And I knew that Britt would never let you buy one.
Right.
So
there
you go, son.
Did you trade anything in at GameStop towards it? Like your old headset or
I told you I can. I was, dude. When I walked in there, I was sweating bullets because there was nobody in there. And the woman was like, I think we have it in the back. I'm like, oh fuck, how long is this gonna take? Like, come on, like I gotta go. Like I'm already like I had to, because the other thing too was I had to come home with Starbucks. So it was like she was like, well, are you done at the butcher yet? Like, what's going on? Like, should I put the order in at Starbucks?
Oh my God.
Yeah, put it in. And then I had to make up that I didn't realize that her thing was there. It was a whole thing. When I got to Starbucks, she had ordered something that she never orders. So I was like, oh, this is great. This plays perfectly into the story. I could just act like I was there and I didn't realize that you had ordered something different because you always order this thing. So I just standing there waiting for an order that I knew was sitting there the whole time. I mean, the lies, man. I'm telling you. That's why I was like, if I get caught, the number of lies that I will be caught in, all little white lies and everything, and it's not like the biggest
built a house
deals.
of cards for your.
Oh, there's a huge house of lies.
I feel like I want to turn this into like commercial for like Alex's like ambulance chasing law firm, but it's like like, do you need to lie to a loved one?
Right. Dude, the whole thing with the propane tank bullshit just came off the tongue. I was like, where did that even come from? That makes no sense.
You can't leave propane tanks now every time it rains, you got to go outside.
Well, you know what the best part, you know what the best part is of being like, I guess I'm gonna say in a relationship for this long, especially when the other person's on TikTok. So she was watching TikTok and she was totally half paying attention to what I was saying.
Of course.
Because she was kind of like, like, you got like, like.
So what you can do now, if that's the truth, is use the "I told you about it." Remember?
No, I can't. I've tried that before, and it doesn't work. She knows everything I tell her. I've tried that before with some other. I forget what the hell I tried that with. Oh, I tried that with the Thor's hammer Lego that she found, and she was like, "What is this?" And I was like, I told you about it. I told you I was getting it." She goes, "No, you didn't. You said you were getting the Back to the Future and the Van Gogh one." I was like,
"Could you try and lie and just say like, oh well, we got one sent to us from the podcast, because you have gotten stuff like we bought the PlayStations with the podcast funds, for instance."
"No, I could. Oh, you know what? I might try that next time."
Yeah, why don't you just be like, "I really wanted this thing, and Chris and Tom sent a message. Tom used his GameSpot thing and asked,
you don't even have
like,
to
hit up Sony, and Sony sent us one."
It's when you get caught with this.
I don't need. Yeah,
no, but you still have the box. I know you still have the box, so you could put them back in the box, and then you could have it show up.
And you could re-deliver it to yourself.
Yes.
Here you go. Here it is. I bought one, then I got sent one. So I sold you mine for a steep discount.
Okay. That's not bad.
But
not bad.
I feel like the title of this episode, "The Gang Helps Tuna Lie."
Yeah. That's not bad. Plus, then Alex, what you can do is the next thing you want to buy, let's say it's like $250. What you do is you Venmo Tom that money and be like, "Look, I'm buying this from Tom," and now you've got that.
Well, you know what
Tom gives it back to you in cash, and now you've got that money to go spend on something else you want.
So
would she ask Brooke? Does Brooke have to be on this too? How big a web are we spinning?
She won't ask shit. But the funny thing is that it has crossed my mind. Like sometimes, okay. So the other night we watched. This is gonna be really quick. We watched. When I say we, I mean me. I watched Dungeons and Dragons with her sitting there.
Oh, great movie.
Now it was a great fun. I loved it. I had a great time with it. I thought it was a fun movie. She did not pay attention at all. I don't really care. What I was thinking about though was I really wanted to watch this movie, and she did not. So I almost made up that we needed to record a special episode for some reason and come down here and do that. And I didn't do it because I thought to myself, she has commented before on whether like she has seen a Chris or Tom Instagram story. And I was like, if either one of them posts a story while I'm supposed to be downstairs recording a special episode,
you need to do that. You just tell me.
I was also going to maybe text all of you and be like, "Look, I really want to watch a movie that Britt doesn't want to watch." I lied to her and said I was doing a special episode of the podcast. I'm coming down to the basement. Don't post shit.
By the way, the PSVR 2's in the window while I'm walking through. I did a story about the thing. So if she asks you about the propane tank, it can't go in the rain.
I feel like we should be taking notes so we remember what we're supposed to live through.
Oh, yeah, I need a list. I need a list of the lies you've told Britt, like that I need to like be a part of. She thought the two of you were at the fucking US Open. You were down in the basement.
Wait. This is the funniest. Wait. I forgot to tell you this part. So I go upstairs after like a couple hours to I forget just to like check in on the kid and her and stuff.
Was this after while you were playing? Because
you
sent us a picture of it the day of. You're like, "Let's go."
No. This is while Dan and I are watching the US Open. Right?
Oh,
this is while we're watching the US Open. I go upstairs and she goes, "What are you guys doing down there?" I go, "We're watching the US Open." She goes, "Well, like you're just sitting there?" I'm like, "No, what do you mean we're sitting there?" I was like, "What are you talking about?" She goes,
like,
"What do you
yes,
guys...
but
then she goes, "What are you guys talking about?" Or what do you guys, yeah. And I was like, "I don't know. We're just, you guys are talking."
It was like, "What are you guys doing? Just talking?" Like,
that's it. Yes, Dan's right. What are you guys doing? Just talking down there?
Does she think you're having like an affair with Dan?
Well, yeah. It's like what's funny is
think like she's gonna walk down. You're gonna have Dan over the couch, just
over the couch,
or I don't know which way it goes, but
so another ridiculous lie that was related to that sort of, but wasn't a tuna lie, was we ordered salad. We tried to order salads for lunch. And the DoorDash person went to go pick it up at Chopped. Like, it's not like a fancy place, just like a fucking salad.
Yeah.
You get online, you fucking wait a little bit, you have to get a salad and go. And the DoorDash guy was like, "It's over an hour wait. I don't want to be here anymore. Can you cancel?"
Yeah. I didn't.
That's such a fucking lie.
Yeah, I didn't buy that it was an hour.
Salad place.
I think that he had another order he wanted to do and didn't want to wait 10, 15
or he was doing multiple orders too.
Yeah, he was definitely doing multiple orders.
Like,
shit, I got to pick that up now.
I don't know any place. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm done. That's it.
Well, no, you wanted to talk about your golfing experience.
I just said it was amazing. I just love it. I
you-
think it's the best VR game
Easy.
by far.
Did you
By
consider
far.
just leaving the VR headset in your car? Why not just put it in the car and then get it the next day while she's at work?
Because it's, well, first of all, she doesn't work because it's the summer.
Oh, okay. So there is a problem.
So you would have been waiting a
Sure.
while.
Second of all, it
Right,
wasn't in
right.
it wasn't in my car, it was in her car.
Well, yeah, but put it into your car. Just go out of her car into your car, put it in your
I know, but
car.
that means that
Chris, I don't think you understand. There
thought
was a
process
window
was
well, all right, and
right. There was the window well was already in play. The window well was already in play. That's number one. Number two is that if I did leave it in my car, I'd have to wait till the next day when she went and took the kid to the mommy and me thing. That's a lot of time to wait.
Why?
Yeah, I wasn't
waiting
waiting
for your new.
I was not
Excuse
waiting.
me.
Could you
I
have avoided
set
this
that
mission?
shit up. What?
Could you have avoided this mission by just waiting till the next day when she was at the mommy and me thing?
But that's a long time.
that would have been
He
risky
wanted to
too.
pull-
That would have been risky too, because I would have still turned off the ring. I would have
Yeah.
still done all of that. And then if I went out and for some reason it was taking a long time and I didn't get home before they got back for like Ferris Bueller, if I
Yep,
didn't get
yep,
home
yep.
before they got home and she would have said, why didn't the ring go off? It would have been I would have been caught. But,
Yeah.
So
The window well
It was good.
tank plan was the best.
I mean, it
plan
worked.
He had.
I mean, the whole thing worked. Unless she listens to this podcast or one of you fuckers rat me out,
Not going to be me.
I'm golden.
Yeah.
So
I'm just I'm like maybe.
if you double cross me one way, I'll double cross you.
So there's just like one listener who's always like putting Tuna at the bottom of their list when they rank the host. They're like, I finally
They've
got him.
they've
where
got
I
they've got
want
Brett.
him.
They've got Brett on speed dial.
You got
They
a
got her on
message.
speed
You're
dial.
getting like she's getting like cryptic like messages.
Yeah, they're
and
sending her like
stuff.
Game Busters.
Yeah,
gotta figure it out.
exactly.
Or it's just
I
like
just
it's just like a
yeah.
message that says like check the basement closet.
I just hope you update
cement
this.
up the window well.
Hold
Yeah,
on,
when
actually,
she does
this is
catch you eventually wearing this headset,
She's
you have
going
to let us know what she
eventually.
says.
Yeah,
Yeah, but she don't come down to the basement, so
I don't know.
This is actually a great question. You because you're a psycho and you keep your boxes. Is the evidence?
it is.
You're a fucking idiot, dude.
Actually, I had a great purge of all my Lego boxes. Brittany was
the PlayStation one.
I just, you know what it is?
Who could
I
forget
have
the
like
great
this.
Lego
I
box
have this
purge
like
of
time
2021?
period in my mind that like I like if this thing breaks within a certain amount of time, I want to keep the box. But you know what's really lame?
sure.
Like I still have like I don't know why I'm keeping this. I still have the chest box that God of War came in.
Oh, we
like,
still have that. It's so cool.
But why? But it is cool. But like, how long? I'm never gonna open that thing again.
Brooke
Correct.
uses it for stuff.
What are you talking about? What for the like to make toys come to life like that movie?
No, she like
Which
uses
movie?
it for storage.
Small soldiers.
The what was that called? The
Indian
cover.
Why do I have this?
Indian in the cupboard. Indian in the
Oh
cupboard.
my god!
Why do
look
I even
at
have?
that.
There's not anything in here. I got rid of the Wii U. Why the fuck do I have a Wii U box?
amazing?
Wow.
That's incredible.
That's a cool box.
It's a nice box. Like it's better on the front.
It is a
Oh,
cool
yeah.
box.
It's a cool
It is
box.
a cool box.
Speaking of boxes.
I recently had a big purge as well.
Yeah, honestly, I had to get rid of all the Lego boxes were taking up so much room. I had to get rid of them, and I was like, "Am I really going to sell an empty box one day? No. Am I really even going to cut it out and make it a poster? No. I tell you
I
what,
did not
posters.
make it a poster. That's
You know what posters?
deranged
I
behavior.
was talking to Chris about this. What display?
Yeah, display's very
Display?
cool.
Shit's awesome.
Yep. And those Wazkuyas I sent you.
Yeah.
The lenticular images.
Mhm.
I got
Yeah.
one for Matt with One Piece characters, which
Mhm.
I wouldn't want to show you because it's got some spoiler characters in there, but it's
Right.
got like 3 very cool characters. And when you change it, it does, it's 3 different images depending on what angle you look at it. It's very
Sure.
fucking cool.
Sure.
I want to get some of those things. There's too many that I like.
There's
and then
so
can't
many.
decide
I mean,
which
I want to
one
get I want to get
'cause
Halo, the Halo one, the Halo 3
display-
one. Yeah, they don't have the Reach one. I would want is the Noble team standing in front of the planet, but they don't have that. That's the one that I would want personally. But all right,
So-
I'm done.
Speaking of boxes, Tuna,
Somebody take over. What do you got?
this came today.
Beautiful.
What is that?
This is my analog pocket.
What does that mean? Oh,
It plays actual Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance games,
wow.
but it also play the ROMs, and I can put like Super Nintendo, NES
Yeah.
ROMs, a lot of other
That's
ROMs
pretty
on
sweet.
here.
That is pretty cool.
It does have the back trigger buttons.
This
as well.
is made not by Nintendo.
No, but it actually accepts the cartridges and plays them
Very cool.
correctly.
Ooh.
How have they not been sued by Nintendo?
There's a passage of time on console hardware.
Yeah,
got it.
Cool.
Cool.
I figured.
What's it called? Tuna, you should know. It's your law guy.
and I believe there's also, as far as emulation goes, so long as you're not using like illegally like source
statute of limitations,
like code, like as long as this isn't like the code that was taken from them, it's like if you can emulate it with your own code, then it's fine. You're allowed to play your games however you want, but you're not allowed to steal like the source code and put it on a device. So at this point, there's so many good emulation tools out there, but this actually accepts the hardware. I'm very excited because I mean, Tom, I know you have one already, but the display.
What kind of screen is it?
It's a 1440 OLED screen.
Wow.
That's the real secret about this is it's perfectly 10 times the display resolution of the original
Game Boy games look incredible on it. It's insane.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I have a couple Game Boy games. The rest will probably do ROMs for, partially because retro collecting has inflated the price
so expensive
of those games, but more importantly, there's so many fake dupes now out there, fake cartridges that are being made of old retro games, that it's very hard, unless you can like physically go somewhere and like look at them, to discern. Like if you buy something online, you're not going to know until it gets there whether or not you're getting it real.
I have a whole bunch of out of box Game Boy games.
Yeah,
and Game Boy Color games at my mom's.
Take them.
At Mama's. Cool.
We'll talk.
Very nice. So the lights behind you, Chris, on your TV and shit.
Yes.
Is that like behind the television?
Yes. So actually the light bars and stuff, I just set it to do just like a pattern right now while we're recording. But normally there's a little camera that looks at whatever's on the TV, and then whatever is on the TV, the edges match.
Got it.
So the lights will actually match the edges of the TV. So it brings.
That's not distracting. It's like even a better experience.
I will use it for certain shows that are like fun, like sci-fi, things like that, like any kind of like big blockbuster movie. Everything else, I usually just put like a dim backlight behind it, so that it's like normal TV. You don't really want it. It is kind of weird. And like, I don't need fucking colors going off when I'm watching The Office. Yeah, actually, it might be pretty cool on The Price is Right.
Yeah,
it might be pretty cool on The Price is Right. But like Star Wars, it's great on, you know. But I'm not going to watch Nathan For You with this.
And this is plugged in.
Amazing.
Nathan For You, yeah.
Yes, it's plugged in.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right, sorry, go ahead.
So Walkabout mini golf.
Oh yeah,
we played a lot. It was great. We had a great time.
Good times. We're had by all.
I don't remember. I had something I was going to talk about. I'm going to be honest. I don't even remember what it is anymore. So it must not have been.
Well, just throw it to Dan or Tom, and then if you think of it, you interrupt them.
All right. Well, Dan, what are you doing? What's going on?
I don't know what else I have that we didn't talk about already. Not much.
You left your wallet at my house. You had to come back.
Yeah, with that, yeah.
Classic.
I did do that. At first, so we were leaving Tuna's place, and he was like, I gotta give the baby a bath. So like we were like a 6:07 trade. So like we watched the end of a match, and then we're kind of like rushing out of there. And I was like, we get in the car, and I go, shit, my sunglasses. And he goes, I don't think you have time. And so we figured out how we'd get those back to me eventually. And then I get home, and I go taking stuff out of my pocket. I'm like, fuck, I don't have my wallet. And so I had to come all the way back to pick up said phone, and I picked up the glasses as well.
Yep.
Because I needed it, because I had the doctor's appointment today, so I needed my card. So
and there it is.
That sucks. That's a good 20 minutes each way?
Yep.
Yeah, roughly.
Not ideal.
Yeah. Did you think of your thing? What about the hurricane?
Hurricane was fine. I mean, I think
Earthquake?
that was last week. That was last week.
Oh.
Hurricane.
Yeah, we
Earthquake.
did talk about it.
Yeah.
Tuna's
Yeah.
done this a couple weeks in a row now, where he just forgets what week it is.
Yeah,
We need it on the previously on.
Yeah.
That's well.
If it's
You know what? I thought about it, but it was such a. It wasn't
Nothing burger
because it was a nothing burger hurricane. You
Yeah.
know? So
Thank God.
it was,
Thank God.
Did you
that's
play
true.
anything? Did you do anything? Did you go anywhere?
I just played Walkabout mini golf this week. That's all I did. I haven't been so at the beginning of the month, Fox Bet, who I was working for, shut down. But so I'm getting moved over to the digital team. So I haven't been really like doing much for the last couple of weeks. So I literally was just like playing Walkabout mini golf and watching TV for the last.
I mean, it's a fantastic game.
Oh, I did start Red
game.
Matter 2. Red Matter 2, visually, I would say is the best looking game I've played on PSVR 2, other than like I'd put it up there with Horizon, followed by by Star Wars. It is really, really good. You get these two little, like, you're a cosmonaut, you're in space, and you've got these two grippers, which they make like your space controllers. You know, they look like the PlayStation controllers, but you can grab things with them, you can scan stuff. You've got like a jetpack. I've done some like light puzzle solving. It's like an adventure puzzle game. It's sort of in between the two. I think there's like minimal combat in it. But yeah, I mean, mostly I played a lot of mini golf this week. I'm very excited for us to play more mini golf and collect the rest of the balls.
Still contend it's the best game on VR.
Oh, I mean,
what is the DLC that got announced that you shared today?
Well, I was going to save that for news. But
news. Sure, we can share for news.
No, save for news. Save for news.
Save for news. The only other thing is
Did you get a haircut today?
I did.
Oh, it looks nice.
I was like, you didn't look like that yesterday.
We both got clean cuts.
I got one the other day, but like,
yeah, it had to go.
Yeah,
had to go. It was getting in my eyes. It was like annoying.
Yeah.
Much shorter for you on the sides. I see you're starting to get grays in the same. I'm starting to get grays in the exact same spot, but they don't show as well unless my hair starts.
They've been there. It's just more now. So
you're gonna look like
it's starting to outnumber the black hair.
You're gonna look like Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah, you got a little Reed Richards.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I gotta say that is awesome. I will say, so this did happen this week.
Okay.
Got on the scale. I've officially lost more than 50% of my pandemic weight. I am 1 pound away.
That's awesome.
1 pound away from being 30 pounds lighter from when you guys saw me.
Wow.
So
I will say this in that same vein, this family in this house have started a real actual stop eating like slobs diet. So that has now started as well.
Yeah.
Especially since I did go, like I go for a physical every year, but I went and he called me back and for the very first time he was like, listen, I don't want you to freak out, but your cholesterol was just a smidge. He was like, it was just a smidge high. He goes, I don't want you to be concerned. It's not a big deal. And then he also said my vitamin D was low. And I was like, isn't everyone's vitamin D
I got
low?
that one too. I got the vitamin D low thing.
Isn't everyone's vitamin D low? But he was like,
I take vitamin D.
It's a little, he wanted to prescribe me vitamin D, but my insurance didn't cover it. My insurance didn't cover it.
Go and buy it at the store.
I know, but he still wanted to prescribe it. Whatever, I don't care. If it was going to be free.com, but it wasn't.
Do they get some money on those prescriptions? They get
who knows? I don't know what's going on with that.
I wonder how that works.
I don't know what goes on there.
Because he
anyway,
also could have been like, drink some orange juice or
yeah,
yeah. Get those thin worms in there.
Yeah, I like wrote it down. He was like, everything else is fine. He goes, just a smidge, just a tiny smidge. I was like, all right, smidge.
Calling you short.
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you what, when I went there and got on the scale, let me tell you something. If Trump is 215, dude, I'm a cool 105. Okay, I'm a cool 105 over here.
So I'd been eating better like since my doctor's appointment like a month ago, and I went back today, and I weighed like a pound more, and I realized like I was as of then I was like, I don't think I've crapped in a couple days, and that's probably why it's more.
Could be it.
But like,
I'm sorry.
Amazing.
Did you just say a couple days?
Yeah.
Wait, what? Wait, I missed that.
Yeah. I'm sorry. What?
I was
I don't
dehydrated.
think
I hadn't crapped in a couple days until I got home today. And then
well, I mean, if
crapped,
I was
like, right away.
dehydrated, I probably wouldn't be peeing.
Well, no, because like it needs the water to move things through. Anyway, I drank a bunch of water and then like I got home from the doctor and
I don't think I have ever gone
shit,
more
so.
than a day
Correct.
in my life.
Really?
Without,
In your
Yeah,
life more than one
absolutely.
day?
I don't think I've
Absolutely
ever gone
not.
more than a day.
Yeah,
No,
I'm pooping maybe multiple times a day.
I'm
I
doing.
mean,
Yeah,
usually
I'm
I
going
am, but like every
multiple a
once in a
day.
while.
1 to 2. 1 to 2.
Every once in a
Yeah.
while. No.
Brooke is
Yeah.
the same as Dan though. Brooke is doesn't do it for a couple of days at a time.
I usually do,
What?
but like that was just like a happenstance thing.
Is that like possible?
But it's
Well,
not like a
clearly.
week. I'm not saying like a week.
Your intestines are like backed up like a highway. Like
They
what is
were,
going
and
on
so
there?
like it was all just like there, and I had to evacuate early.
Oh my god. Yeah, but if you were dehydrated, you would have weighed less because that water is.
Well, I was dehydrated when I woke up, and
Oh,
then I
then you
started
chugged.
drinking water because I was
Yeah, yeah.
thirsty.
Yeah.
And so I was like 2 bottles of
Mm.
water, and I hadn't pooped deep by the time I got weighed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it was all there. And then like I was like, this fucking annoying.
Man, if a couple of days, that's wild.
Also, I fucking sat there for an hour in the waiting room. Like fucking 2 sets of people went in before I did. And then they took my blood pressure and they're like, it's kind of high. I was like, I've been taking my blood pressure fucking every day. And it's been like these numbers. And I'm probably just angry right now. And that's why it's high.
Mm.
And they were like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because I saw a number and they were like, it's 148. And I was like, fucking 148 is much higher than I'm getting. Every damn day, twice a day. So
That's not ideal.
who knows?
Tomas,
Mm.
lay it on us.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a video game coming out, Starfield.
Never heard.
Coming out, yeah. Coming out. Well, it'll be out in early access by the time people hear this. And then it comes out next Tuesday for other folks. If you have Game Pass, you can get it the early access for like $30 more if you want.
30, yeah, 35, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
I know people will pay that, but at the same time, that's ridiculous.
So
Here's 1 week of the game. $35.
You also get cosmetics. You get cosmetics and the
yeah, there's
art
like
book,
some
but-
and digital soundtrack and all that. So I've played quite a bit. I played over 20 hours of the game. I've had it for a couple of weeks. I will say that it is the absolute pinnacle of Bethesda game design. It is also, in my experience, the Matt Booty quote of "this is the most bug-free game Bethesda's ever put out," I would say is true for myself. I haven't run into any game-breaking bugs. There's been things here and there that have been fine. That is not a consistent experience across my team. We've had quite a lot of people play it, and there's been varying degrees of that. And some people have had some really bad bugs with the game. So, and I've played it on both PC and Xbox. So, it's not like it's only on one thing or the other. It's a good game. I enjoy it. I have been playing it in a very specific way. I've been doing side quest stuff only because I'm capturing and making content around that for GameSpot. So I actually haven't touched the main story quest. From what I hear from other folks is that the main story quest, the writing is like whatever. And I will say that in terms of writing, I think like the actual, this has the most words of any Bethesda game before. But I would say the quality of the writing is maybe the weakest they've ever had. That being said, I think that there are some really cool ideas and like storylines, just like the moment-to-moment dialogue is kind of whatever. If you have been disappointed, if the biggest turnoff for a Bethesda game has been combat, which is a lot of people's kind of like they just can't get into the gunplay.
That's me.
I would say that is fixed. I would say that this isn't the best shooter ever made, but I would say that it's more than competent.
I mean, it looked like a real shooter, whereas every other
Yes.
game was like a simulation game, and it's the only reason I do not like the Fallout
Right.
games.
Well, that's not going to be a problem here, I think. But ultimately, I think that one of the big reasons why I think this game is not going to perform critically as well as Bethesda probably hopes, and probably a lot of people hope, because of bold. I mean, I know that we're giving it I think we're giving it a 7, if not a 6. The reviewer at work, and there's someone who. That's someone who mainlined. I mean, again, our review scale, 5 is average, 7 is good. So it's just one of those things where our review scale is not in line with like what people perceive a 7 to be. But they just really did they did some side stuff, but they did a lot of main quest stuff as well, which I have completely avoided. Up until this point. I'm going to start doing some main quest stuff soon. But I think that Baldur's Gate coming out really kind of showed what the future of RPGs can be. And that is just kind of like unlimited player choice. You can tackle any situation that you want in any way that you want. And Bethesda is like, it makes Starfield feel rather rigid. For example, there was one.
But they're not trying to be the same thing. Baldur's Gate is emulating D&D. It's making a GM. This is like a space adventure simulator.
Sure, but in terms
feels weird to score it lower comparing it to another game.
How does it compare to Madden?
Feels like it should be scored on its own merits and not based on another game that people like more.
I mean, it's not just the reason it's being scored this way is not simply because of Baldur's Gate. I'm just talking about like the experience of and sure, one is based off of D&D, but Bethesda kind of pioneered like gameplay choice, right? With like Fallout 3, right? And like Elder Scrolls and all of this stuff. And a lot of player choice is what is in Baldur's Gate 3. And that is what shines in Baldur's Gate 3. So going off, I'm just going to give you an example of something I did in Starfield to give you context. I was on a planet and I was talking to someone, and they basically wanted to pull some shady shit that would undercut the head honcho of the area. And after playing so much Baldur's Gate 3, where you would have the ability to go to that head honcho, rat that person out to curry favor with that head honcho, that was my mindset. I was like, oh, I'm going to go, thanks for telling me this information. I'm going to go rat you out to this other person. And when I went to that other person, like I had to wait for the story quest to pull them in. I had another situation where there were two rival factions and I was kind of acting like the side person. I was like, I'm going to go tell them to fuck off or whatever, with the intent of going back to the refugees and saying like, I told them I'm going to kick you up and I'm actually going to help you like get into this place. And telling the corporate side, I'm going to do this, locked me into that choice. I couldn't actually change my mind after that point. And Baldur's Gate continuously gives you opportunities to do things like that, where you are able to fully embody a character and fully make these well-rounded choices. And yes, overtly they are completely different games. I would not expect it to have the same level of, oh, I can go over there and shove something. But, you know, Bethesda used to be the pioneer of this kind of stuff, and it's still stuck in this once revolutionary RPG model that is like now feeling quite stale. I don't think this game does anything. The only thing this game does, other than like improving combat, better than other games, is that it's bigger. Other Bethesda games is that it's bigger.
But it just feels weird because, correct me if I'm wrong, Baldur's Gate is a turn-based game.
Yes.
So you're comparing a game whose system mechanics are built around, like the gameplay of Baldur's Gate is player choice. The gameplay of Starfield is you're on a space adventure, and so it has real-time combat.
Yeah, but how would that
player
affect
choice in the same way?
How would that affect? Well, I would argue.
Well, because it feels like
that Bethesda games it's equally just about like the combat as it is about like talking to people and making choices and decisions. Like that's why people
that's my point is that you're balancing both of those things, whereas in Baldur's Gate they're putting all of their money just on player choice, and combat doesn't exist.
Baldur's Gate isn't, well, that's not true, because I would argue that Baldur's Gate's combat, even though it is turn-based, is way more thought out. Just because it's a turn-based RPG, like Baldur's Gate puts equal merit in combat and player choice and discussions and conversations. Like I think Baldur's Gate on both fronts is a far better title than Starfield. Like even if we were just comparing, like obviously like the systems are completely different, like it's first person shooter, third person shooter versus turn based, but like it isn't like Baldur's Gate 3 doesn't have interesting in-depth combat, so they had the ability to focus all on player choice and the writing of the dialogue. Like it put a lot of effort into its combat, and I think that despite them being two different systems, like the Starfield combat is just generic first-person shooter stuff. The Baldur's Gate combat is far more interesting and compelling. That they are two different games, and I think that, but you know, it doesn't separate the fact that everyone that I've spoken to has been like, there was someone on my team that was like, I haven't played Baldur's Gate 3 yet because I'm waiting until it's on the PS5, so I'm going to play that next after Starfield. And someone commented, and they were like, you did it in the right order. It just impresses so much with how it revolutionizes RPGs, and Starfield does nothing more than just be big. And then the other thing with it is that so much of the space travel is done through fast traveling. You get into your ship, you pull up a map, and you say, I want to go to this planet, and then there's a transition animation from where you are to the next star system. You can do space combat in orbit of starships and things and planets, and I enjoy the space combat, but the actual, you are really just kind of like teleporting to places, which I'm glad that system is in there. I'm glad it isn't just like manual, because the game requires you to planet hop a lot. Like you will literally go to one planet, talk to one person, get the next instance of the quest, and then you have to jump to the other side of the galaxy to talk to the next person. So at first I was like, oh, it's a shame that I can't fly the ship off the planet and all of this. But then I was ultimately glad that I could just like fast travel to my ship, fast travel to the next planet. But it doesn't really make, you know, a ton of, it doesn't make you feel like you're traveling this vast galaxy. You may as well just have them all kind of like in one location. And then the other thing that I think is kind of a downside of that design is that because there are so many planets in different spaces, and the variety is excellent comparative to an Elder Scrolls or a Fallout, every area that you go to on these planets that has any kind of like meaningful variation is very small. Most of the planet is just wilderness and the outposts kind of repeated over and things like that. And then there are more planets than not that don't even like, you shouldn't even like bother exploring. It's a game, look, it's on Game Pass. I think that it's a good Bethesda game, and I'm enjoying myself. I'm going to spend quite a bit more time with it, but I think that the expectation of this being like the beginning of the next generation of RPGs, go anywhere, do anything, I much prefer the direction of a smaller game with way more in-depth systems than a great big expansive game that doesn't engage beyond like the surface level and like some stuff under. There's some of my favorite Bethesda stuff is in this game, but also some of my least favorite Bethesda stuff is in this game just because of how big it is. So I definitely check it out. Like I'm not saying like don't enjoy this, I mean obviously if you enjoy it, you enjoy it. I'm not saying don't be excited for this game. I would say just like keep your expectations in check. This is not the second coming of Jesus. this is not even close to especially in this year where there's so many good games of the year. Like, I really don't see this being in contention for those kinds of accolades. But I still think it's definitely a game. If you're interested in Starfield, especially if you have Game Pass, definitely something to check out. And the combat is way better, which I know is such a problem for so many people, including myself. So that's my Starfield rant. I'm gonna answer some questions real quick and from the chat, and then of course, if you guys have any further questions, not from the chat, from the Discord, if you have any further questions, Slater says, how does the loot reward system in Starfield compare to Fallout 4 or Skyrim? What has been your favorite pickup you found? That is definitely a highlight of the game. I would say that I have felt kind of constantly rewarded with getting good loot in missions. There's one mission in the very beginning. If actually by the time this is out, if you go watch our 13 Things to Know GameSpot video on Starfield, we specifically call out a mission you can do early that is a side thing that you will not want to miss. It is so cool, and it is an absolute must-do, and it would be a real shame if anyone missed it. The best missions in this game. And they have some really cool loot that does some really interesting stuff. So I actually feel like that is really high up there for me of one of the reasons why I like the game. And then Tuna Fan Club Slater also asks about overhauls to AI. Are we still dealing with basic hired guns that are just programmed to stay at your 6 with the companions? Companions act very much like they have in other previous Bethesda games. I think this is one of the systems that has received the least amount of change. I actually stopped having the companions simply because I was trying to do some very specific things and capture some very specific gameplay, and they would constantly get in the way of conversations. They would constantly like run up to me, run past me, run in front of me, which is how they've always behaved. So companions, I think, are comparatively to the loot, I think companions and all of that is underwhelming, especially again compared to Baldur's Gate, which has some incredible companions that you're having constantly evolving relationships. I had one companion who disapproved, when I told the CEO person I'm gonna fuck over the refugees, which I intended as a lie, but I was locked into that choice. It came up and they were like, your companion has disapproved of this, and they made a comment. And I was like, oh, interesting. I'll go talk to them and like see if we can hash it out, like, see if we can. But there was no dialogue option to like follow that thread of them being disappointed in my choice, which felt Cyberpunk even does that, you know what I mean? Like that game does some RPG systems better than this as well. And so it's just like that kind of stuff we've moved past. The RPGs have moved past this kind of design in a lot of ways. So yeah, unfortunately, companions are definitely a low point. There's some fun stories and stuff there, but
I don't feel like they suggested it in the same way. To me, it always looked as a much more linear but open world game where you can make decisions, but it did seem like there was a story that it drives you through.
I mean, yeah, and if that's
like they were focusing on the fact that it was more of like an adventure action game.
Sure.
So it just like all the RPG systems and stuff you're talking about, I don't care about those things because I don't play those games. The only thing I care about is this like a big epic space adventure that like the combat doesn't suck in? And if the answer is yes, then like that's all I care.
Is your expectation going in? I think you are going to have a lot more. You are going to get a lot more out of this because it isn't where the moment to moment writing is not great, but like I think some of the story stuff is fun, so I think we'll have a good time with it. I'm just saying the expectations of the general audience that are looking for this game are looking for those deep.
Do you know what I mean? Because you talk about like the history of the previous games that came before and whether it builds on them or not, but like what's more important is like that they advance what they've done in the previous games. You know what I mean?
I mean, I don't think it.
I also don't have a dog in this race. Like, I kind of don't care if the game's not good because I don't like any of their previous games. I don't play the Skyrim games. I didn't play Fallout.
I think it improves on combat, and it's their most polished game. But I don't think that there's anything in this game that is an improvement over Fallout or Skyrim. Graphics, I mean, the game looks a lot better as well, but it's just bigger, you know. And it has ship combat. And again, if you are expecting what you described, I think you're going to have a good time. So if you're listening to this and you're like a Chris and you're like, I'm not looking for anything that deep, I want to see some cool shit. Like, the design in this game is top notch. You know, all of the NASA punk stuff is amazing. Like, everything looks good, something you cannot say about Cyberpunk. You know, if you're like, I just want to go on a cool thing, I'm happy with it being kind of a popcorn thing. Fine.
I'm also happy with it being bad because there are too many other games I want to play, so I kind of don't care.
Yes.
The whole go anywhere, do anything, like, I didn't see that anywhere, but I also, again, don't really watch too many promos for these things anymore because I kind of just want to play the games when they come out.
Sure.
The hype cycle usually does nothing but disappoint people.
Yeah, I mean, if you avoided the hype cycle, good on this game, like, then I think you're gonna have a much better time with it. A lot of people have not, and a lot of people have gotten their expectations out of whack. And I even think the people who are expecting like this to be like,
that was also a stupid thing for them to say after everyone saw what happened to No Man's Sky.
I also think like the return, if people are viewing this as like the return to form with Bethesda, like, they're going to prove that they are still the best RPG makers in the business. I don't think that game. I think there are multiple RPGs on various different levels that.
Everything about this game to me looked like it was the least RPG of their games. It looked like the things that they were showing off were not about it being like.
And say this, like, the leveling up, the skills, like, if you want a lockpick, you're going to have to upgrade the lockpicks. You're going to have to, if you want to fly better ships, you have to improve your flying. If you want to, I mean, you're going to be encumbered all the time if you want to improve your carrying capacity. Like, there are still a lot of those kinds of systems. It does not have that.
That sounds like the stuff I find annoying about Zelda.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, inventory management is still a huge part of this game.
Yeah.
So there's that.
I don't know, man.
Tuna, you think you're gonna be playing this? I think I might not be playing this game.
I'm already like,
I think I'm out.
I think I'm out. I think I'm out based on
I think I'm out.
But also, like,
I'll load it up. I preloaded it, but I think I'm done.
Yeah, I think I'll try it. I'll boot it up and I'll see. I'll play an hour or so and see what happens.
I'll tell you this, Tuner. If you're annoyed by the idea of everything can be picked up, I have to pick up everything. I mean, this game has thousands of planets.
Well,
stuff to pick
yeah.
up.
So I told you when I started Skyrim, like, it just became overwhelming for me, and there were so many systems and so many things that I was just like, this is becoming more of like a chore. That's probably so bad. Like, people who love Skyrim are like, oh my god, but it became like a chore to play that game. Like, I just wasn't like, I feel like God of War, like a game like God of War, obviously very different, but a game that I can just pick up, play, have a ton of fun. It's simple enough. You can collect a limited number of things, and you're not like encumbered. Like Skyrim, that encumbering system, I fucking could not stand. The lock picking in that game, I could not stand. And the fact that I thought that you had to read all the books because I thought it was going to come up later in the game was, a big part of what turned me off to that. But I will give it a go.
I will give it a go. Encumbering does work differently, I think, because they realized that system wouldn't work for this game, where you have like a million more miles to travel. The way that it works is that when you are running, depending on the planet, your oxygen supply is going down a certain amount. And encumbering just increases the speed with which that oxygen.
Okay. See, you're already turning me off. Yeah. I'm already just like, I got to worry about it's kind of like, I remember that game that we went to and we played.
I wish I'd paid attention to this more because I wouldn't have even gotten excited or preloaded this game. based on everything I'm hearing.
But there was one game that Tom, me, and Dan played at like the one in Boston. I think it was like PAX East, right? And we were playing the game, and the guy was like, "Oh, it's so realistic. Like, you're gonna get tired. You're gonna have to eat." I'm like, that does not sound enjoyable. I think
that was Divinity Original Sin.
Like, that does not sound.
That was the game you were like excited about.
No, me.
Well, was Divinity Original Sin? Wasn't that the game that Tuna, when we were like falling asleep in that presentation?
No, that was something else. That was top down.
Yeah, that was something else.
That was top down.
I think that was Divinity.
I thought that was Divinity Original.
I think it was.
No, the game that I'm talking about was a first person shooter. And the guy was like, you're going to be.
I know what you're talking about, and I can't remember what the
fuck.
Yeah. And that was like a survival / Fortnite.
It just sounds to me like it's one of those things like, oh, you have to sleep and you have to eat. Like, dude, I'm all right. Like, fuck that, man. Like, that is not a video game to me. That is a fucking annoyance.
You don't have to necessarily sleep or eat. If you do sleep,
I'm just saying,
24 hours, you get a 10 point plus XP bonus if that entices you.
All I'm saying is that when you start to get like, that's why I think Zelda has this nice, happy area where
they did shit with the items again. Way too many fucking items.
I agree with you. But there's
even
no
more
like
items in this.
But there's no like limit. Like he's got the infinity pouch. What I'm thinking in my head, he has like the infinity pouch in his hold all these things, and it's not encumbering him. Doesn't make him slower. It doesn't matter. Like, you can still go wherever the hell you want. Like, don't worry about that. You know, yes, there's a ton of items, but don't worry about like having to switch shit out and whatever. But this just sounds like I'm going to be annoyed quick. But I'll try it. But I feel like I'm going to be annoyed real quick.
Me too. Honestly, had I known that this was supposed to be another fucking No Man's Sky, another, like, I would have turned my brain off to this thing immediately.
Well, I will say it does funnel you a lot more in the beginning. Like, you basically kind of have to do the first couple of story missions. It does really direct you. So again, speaking to what you guys would be interested in, maybe there's a little bit more of a ramp up, like the whole Fallout, leaving the vault, and you can go, the main mission's over there, but you can really go in any direction, which is why people love that game. Maybe not why you guys would love that game. You do step out and you're on a planet, and it's and you have to fly to an outpost, but it does funnel you a bit more in the beginning.
But so does a lot of games do that. Like, a lot of games funnel you in the beginning, and I feel like I don't have a bias towards an open world game versus a linear game like Halo or something, like the old Halos. I just feel like if you're going to, I just feel like, for me personally, the thing that will get me, for me personally, I feel like for the maybe the more, I don't know if I'd call myself a casual gamer, but I would say like, if you start overloading me with a lot of different systems, a lot of different items, I'm going to lose interest. Like, I'm just going to see it as a chore versus a fun experience.
I want the characters to have more narrative and to be more linear. I don't care about feeling like, I don't need to feel like the character. I don't need to make a million choices so it's like this character, you know.
Oh, I've decided I hate choices in games.
Yeah.
What a surprise.
Yeah.
Hate it. Can't stand it.
Yeah. And some of the things that I've read, like previews and impressions, the few things I've read about this game were people being like, oh, it reminds me more of like a Destiny than a No Man's Sky. Oh, it reminds.
Well, no one's played the game before this. There was no hands-on preview. This is the first time people are playing the game.
Sure. I think this was like based on whatever people saw or whatever.
Right.
It is. Yeah. So,
but Destiny has a million different systems.
Yeah, but like, it's a first person
and a million
shooter.
different items.
Well, okay, I don't know what modern Destiny is like. I loaded it up once and it looked so stupid that I was like, I'm not doing this ever again. But Destiny used to have like 3 systems.
Sure,
you had your upgrade tree.
Really is very linear, but this is not that either. It's more than that for sure. I mean, look,
that's what I mean. I don't mind. I'll play any kind of game. I will play any kind of game. The second you start making it extremely complicated, I'm out. Like Elden Ring, even though the story for me was like, I don't know what the fuck's going on, the game itself was still fun. Like I still had a good time in that game. Like I still had a good time finding weapons. There weren't a ton of weapons out there. There weren't a ton of items out there. It was fun to play, challenging. But as soon as you start loading me up,
I can already see too.
Done.
There's like this gun called the Grendel, and it's a very common gun that you'll find, but you'll also find
that name.
You'll also find like modified versions of it. So you'll find like the assassin Grendel and the silent long scope Grendel, and you'll find like a bunch of different variations. And I just picture, and I'm always getting rid of my Grendels. I'm like, I have the best one. I don't need any of these other fucking stupid ones. And I could just see Tuna being like, fuck these Grendels.
But you see that makes me think back to Borderlands, when they had the items in Borderlands, the different guns and everything in Borderlands, but I didn't feel over encumbered by that game. I felt like it was, you knew based on the color when they came out, you knew which guns were really good, which ones were not. You could look at them really quick and just be like, nah, I'm out. But like there weren't other things in board. Like I feel like with this game, it sounds like there's a lot of things to collect
the
and
guns
and
are
consider.
also on a colored system, so like
no, but what I mean is, I feel like with
like legendary or whatever.
Sure, but I feel like with Borderlands,
sick.
I feel like with Borderlands, there were maybe 4 or 5 categories of things I had to collect, and it sounds like in this game, there's way more than that. And
you have your helmet, you have your spacesuit, you have your apparel under your spacesuit, you have your jump pack, you have your gun, and then you have like resources, you have all of the aid stuff.
See, that's where you're gonna lose me. The resources is where you lose me.
Yep.
I
mean, this is like how I felt when I saw the fucking inventory screen for Baldur's Gate. I saw that character creation. I'm like, that's amazing. And then I saw the inventory screen. And I was like, nah, no, I don't want to learn this. I don't want to learn this. Looked like a foreign language. Like, let
me tell you something.
Look,
you know what's a fun game to play?
I'm sure that you could play this game by just selling resources and just like never upgrading your ship. That being like, but I don't know how far you can get with it, you know, because areas like leveled off, you probably need a better ship. Like,
you know, it's a fun game that you just jump into and have a good time.
Pong,
Walkabout
Pikmin 4,
Pikmin 4,
or Walkabout mini golf. Fuck Starfield, just play Walkabout.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, I think both of you should, and Dan,
look,
you know,
I will download it. I preloaded it.
Downloaded? Are you kidding me? That's a waste of my time and everyone else's.
I pre-downloaded it. I will play it.
Yeah, same.
Okay. I will try it. But next week, when I come on here and I tell you why I didn't like it, shouldn't be surprised.
How do you feel about Knock?
Way too hard for me to learn. I'm out.
All right, we're gonna have to give Pavlov a go.
Yeah. Either that or Walkabout mini golf, because it's the best fucking VR game.
Never need to play anything else.
Nope.
It's so good.
It is so good. But for some reason, Tom can't ever play 2 courses in a row.
I know. He doesn't want to play 2.
Every time I play with VR with Tom, we get 1 course where he goes, all right.
It's an hour.
All right.
The course takes an hour.
Oh my god.
I know. There's part of me, Alex, that's like, maybe we should just find all the hidden balls on our own, because we could play more rounds and then just save the clubs for doing together, because it's like a puzzle. That is an option.
I know.
It is an option. Something to consider. Well, that's too bad. I mean, look, now that you brought up the upgrading the space stations, I do remember that it was a little bit like No Man's Sky, but everything they showed about it was like, they kept showing the first person shooting. It reminded me more of like a first person, almost like Mass Effect. And that's what I was hoping that game would be. But oh well, doesn't seem like it. It doesn't seem like I'm going to like it, but I'll try it. Maybe I will. Who knows? If I don't like it, that's great, because that means I have a lot more time for all of the other games that there are.
Walkabout mini golf.
Yeah, I mean that one. And then the like million other games that feel like they're all coming out at the same time for some stupid reason.
Like what? Mario?
Yeah, I mean, there's like a Mario thing tomorrow.
Oh, I went and
Tom might have contemplated.
Where'd you go?
I went to a Mario preview last week, which by the time this comes out, it'll be able to talk about. We saw like 5 levels from Super Mario Wonder. I'm sure that you'll see all of this in the Mario Wonder Direct that's happening tomorrow. Game looks fun. Art style looks phenomenal. Oh my
Dude,
god.
I have no doubt in my mind that the Mario game is going to be incredible. I'm going to play the shit out of it, and I'm going to try to get every hidden thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to 100% that game without a doubt. I don't need to see a fucking trailer. I already know that game is going to keep my attention for a good 2 weeks.
I'm gonna
100%.
disappoint myself here when I ask a question. The multiplayer, that's not online, is it?
I believe so. Yeah, no way.
Will it work though? Will it work well?
We played online there. You could do 2 people to one system and then up to 4 people online. Yeah. It was good. It was fun. The person
there's my game of the year.
Really,
there it is.
The person I was playing with,
Walkabout.
not the person I was playing
and
with,
then
but one of the
also,
people online.
Also,
that's
100%.
Awesome.
I'm gonna play Mario RPG because I haven't played that in like 15 years.
Yeah, same.
So I'm definitely gonna play that 100%, and I can't wait. Nintendo, as much as I hate things about them,
as much
they
as
come out with
things.
they come out with fucking bangers.
Yep,
simple games, man. Simple games.
Yep.
So the big thing with this one is the Wonder Flowers, which modify the level. So one of the first Wonder Flower is the pipes all kind of came alive, which was fun. There was one where we turned into Goombas, and we had to then like stealth around the level, hiding behind bushes and blocks because everything could eat us, and we like didn't have a jump. And then there's one where we hit the Wonder Flower and we all became inflated balloons. So we kind of like floated around the course.
I will say this. I don't know if I want to know anything else about this game until it comes out. I kind of just want to go in and just be like, holy shit, this is amazing.
I want to see whatever trailer or something they put out tomorrow.
Not much it.
And the rumor is that there's going to be a Mario OLED, red OLED Switch.
Oh, I already have
an
OLED Switch.
What kind of an idiot's buying an OLED Switch this year when they're about to announce the Switch 2? You know,
freaks. Matt, your friend Matt.
Well, I'm glad I got my OLED for Breath of the Wild though.
Yeah, I bet. Do you still have your old Switch?
No.
Okay, great.
I did the story. I didn't get a lot of money for it because the kid chewed it up.
Did Britt know you got a new Switch? What was the deal with that one?
She did. She knew about that. There was no lies told. Well? Yeah, there was no lies told.
I mean, it was almost half the price.
Actually, no, there was a lie told. I lied about how much I got for the Switch regular. Yes, I did lie about that.
About right.
I did lie about that.
So because Alex has to leave, I do want to just in the news 2 quick things. So we'll just close out. We'll do the other questions next week. Questions, body mouse, whatever. Or maybe. Oh no, we shouldn't do this during the post show because that's just for Spartans. Walkabout mini golf news. So we already know that we have the Meow Wolf this fall. Meow Wolf levels coming. And we know that the Jules Verne Around the World in 80 Days is coming. But they announced and showed off a level based on one of the 9 realms.
I mean,
of Norse mythology, and it's like elven, and it looked amazing.
Do every realm.
Okay, so the news so apparently there are hints in a lot of the levels whenever they come out with new ones about things that are going to come later. So for instance, same thing with like Lost Cities, and there's all those like Lost City levels. Laser Lair on that first map, there's actually a thing, and it shows that there's going to be 4 of them. So there are hints at that. They said that this is a standalone. This isn't one of 9 realms.
That is so
Yeah, I know. But who knows? Maybe if it's that popular, they'll decide to do it.
If it's usually popular, make Asgard.
But either way, the fact that we got at least 3 more coming, that's 3 more regular and hard levels.
Also, dude, they should start partnering. Make a Halo.
Yeah, I mean, they got it. This game, I think, is getting very big. It is, I think, one of the more popular.
Fucking perfect. It is. It is a perfect VR game. It's amazing.
I just found out the laser layer level. So I knew it had 2 clubs. I have one of them, but I just found out the mist level has 3 clubs for us to find. What? Yes, I'm very excited about that. And the other thing I found out, Tom, 2018 Indiecade. I believe you went to that one with me.
Fuck, it would be 2018. Shit.
There was a game where it was an AR game, and like people held iPads or phones, and they were walking through like a laser trip maze.
Yep.
That was called Laser Mazer. It was the first game by Mighty Coconut. The third game by Mighty Coconut is Walkabout Mini Golf.
Wow.
I just couldn't believe it. I was like, what else have these guys made?
Dude,
like,
Walkabout Mini Golf VR is just the tits.
It's amazing. It is. It's incredible. It's unbelievable.
It's an amazing game. It's so perfect for VR. It's just
Also, Taskmaster News, Taskmaster New Zealand now available in the UK. It wasn't really available anywhere. It's impossible to watch. So now you can watch it on the Channel 4 app if you have a VPN, which I do.
Bada bing, bada boom.
I think I've seen all the good parts from TikTok already.
Well, that's only from this season, but there's 4 seasons of it. So and they don't have them on YouTube. I've tried watching them. I've tried finding it's been a huge, even on the Reddit like panel show subreddit, it's always been real pain in the ass to try and get the Taskmaster New Zealand download. So I just gave up at some point. And then there was another bit of news. Oh, in 4 hours, One Piece live action launches on Netflix. Boom. There it is.
Very excited.
Yeah. You gonna watch that, Tom, with Brooke?
We're still like, we're not up to the ending of that in the anime.
Who cares? Just watch the live action one then, and then you watch the anime one, or you could skip forward in the anime.
Maybe. Well, we'll see. I just don't know, like, if like how much
you're gonna get blasted with stuff. I imagine it's gonna be everywhere.
I know. I think what'll probably happen is I've heard it's very good.
This is everything I'm hearing.
Yeah. So I might just watch it by myself and then watch it with
sure
at a later time. I'm really stoked on this. It's really weird to be excited for a fucking stream. I'll tell you this. I haven't touched Ahsoka, and like my excitement.
I haven't either, because I have to catch up Therese on what the fuck happened in Rebels.
And apparently, from what I'm hearing, like, you have to watch Rebels because the show, like the quality of the show, like it's.
I think it's just that you will care about the characters also much, much more. Is there's a lot of characters that like you have a history with if you watch the show. Sure. So like you're like, oh, I care about Sabine. I care about a lot of people. But yeah. That's anyway, unfortunate.
I'm sure I'll come around to it eventually, but I was not like, I could start watching it. But One Piece, like last week, I was like, oh, fucking live action One Piece comes out next week. Let's do it. Let's go.
Hell yeah.
So thankfully, we have a good streaming show. We're back, baby. Let's do it.
Thank you for joining us. Sorry, Alex, we went 7 minutes past. That was the show for this week. Don't play Starfield. That's the message. It's a 6 or a 7 out of 10. Not a good game. Although that sounds like that's above average. I thought that was a different company that did that. I thought that was like a digital trends thing. I didn't realize that was also GameSpot's jam. If you like video games and you want to hear about them, you should go watch the Unranked podcast every week. And until next time, stay unranked.
Suck it.